Hello everyone, welcome to EduTap and welcome to the success story session. So today we have with us Mr. Sumanth who has cleared the RBI Grade B in his very first attempt. He is from the engineering background and he started his preparation only after the official notification for the RBI Grade B was out. So today he will share his detailed strategy that how he prepared in the limited time as well as how he was able to cover so many of the components within the given time frame. So first of all, welcome Sumanth, welcome to the session.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Heartiest congratulations to you from the whole EduTap team.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, so can you share about your educational background first of all and how you started this journey towards the RBI Grade B examination?
Yes, ma'am. Like as you said, I have done my engineering in electronics and communication engineering, and I've passed out in 2021. And post that, I've given three attempts at UPSC Civil Services. And post three attempts, I felt that there is a need for me to venture out of the civil services space, and hence, I wrote about, I read about the various regulatory bodies examinations, and thus I choose RBI.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. So that is it.
Okay. So, how did you only start the preparation only after the notification was out? Like, were you not much aware about the examination or what was the idea?
Like I would say, the serious preparation started like only after the notification was out, because before that I was preparing like quant and reasoning. I was doing for CSAT and all, so the related preparation was always going on.
Hmm.
But the focused preparation, like for example, the covering the current affairs for the GA part, that started only after the notification.
Okay. And even finance and management?
In fact, ma'am, frankly speaking, I did my finance and management post the prelims only.
Okay. And what was your mode of preparation? Because it is very difficult to complete all these components in the limited time frame. So what was the mode of preparation for you?
Mode of preparation in the sense online or offline, like that you're asking, ma'am? Or,
Like self-study, or did you buy any course, or you found some sources?
ma'am, I took the course of like EduTap itself, because like I needed some material as a core material, because I didn't have so much of touch with the finance part or the management part. So I needed a basic core material which would act as a base material for me to gain the foundational knowledge. And for this, I took the EduTap course itself, ma'am.
Okay. And you prepared UPSC for 3 years, then you started preparing for the RBI. So when you started this preparation for RBI, were you with the mind that, okay, I am going to clear this exam. This is the one and only attempt that I will be giving, or were you confident, or were you just giving as like backup?
Definitely not just as a backup, ma'am. But uh, on the uh, on the other hand, as well, when there are only 80 odd vacancies, we cannot be fixated that this is the only exam I'm going to write, or this will be my last attempt. So I was due to the past experience from the civil service examinations, I was of the mind that we'll give our best attempt, and like anyhow, the result will definitely not be in our hands. So yeah.
Okay, and what was your source of motivation? Because you have done engineering and then you have given the UPSC attempts and then you continued your preparation rather than like getting tired and leaving it out. So, what was the source of motivation that kept you going in this arduous journey?
Source of motivation. It would be a bit cliche for me to say that, but frankly, it was the inner striving to be the best man. And like I wanted to be in the best jobs, one or the other. So that was the base source of motivation, I would say.
Okay, yes, and inner motivation is the best motivation that you can get because outer comes and goes. Like I am listening to a video, I will be motivated for 1 or 2 days, but the inner motivation keeps you going in the long term. That is absolutely
True,
correct.
ma'am. True, true.
Now coming to the lowest phase in your journey, because you have prepared for UPSC, you have prepared for RBI also. So what was the lowest phase in the whole journey of preparation?
Lowest phase would be when in the last year I couldn't clear my state PCS cutoff, ma'am, and I lost it with a very close margin of around 10 marks. So that had a big mental health impact as well. Like I was traumatized by it, but that also, like in fact, like acted as a boost to me for me to prepare harder for RBA.
Okay. And how did you come out of that low phase? Because when we go into a particular depressive mindset, it is very hard to come out of it. So, was there any particular person or was there any particular exercise that you did?
My mother was definitely one of the persons who helped me in that phase, ma'am.
Mm.
And she always said that if something is going away from you, there is definitely something better which is waiting for you. So I think that has definitely come true now.
Correct. And during this whole preparation phase, were you pursuing some of your hobbies or were you fixated that first I have to clear the exam, then only I will do such enjoyment things?
No, ma'am, definitely not. Because if we try to separate enjoyment and the preparation, like I don't think that we'll be able to even prepare very like efficiently. Because human body by itself, like it needs some rest and some pastime hobbies as well. So watching and playing cricket and writing some blogs has been my pastime, and will definitely going forward will be my hobby also.
Okay. And did you ever felt the pressure from your family and the relatives? Because some people have the tendency of speaking behind your back and giving some kind of judgments. So did you ever felt that pressure from your family or your relatives?
No, ma'am, no.
Okay. So everyone was quite supportive.
Yes, ma'am.
And if I ask you that who was that one person that was the backbone of your journey, as well as any special mentions that you want to do?
Parents were definitely the backbone, ma'am. And in that as well, my mother would be the most important person for me, because my father was definitely very much supportive, but my mother was much more involved in my preparation. Also, she used to help me write my notes and organize my schedules as well. So she was the main pillar of my preparation and my support as well.
Okay. And how did you organize your time? Were you studying for 8 to 9 hours a day because you had such less time? You only started your serious preparation after the notification was out. So, how were you managing the time? How were you organizing?
Ma'am, the number of hours would be somewhere around like 8 to 9 only. And the time management will definitely depend upon which phase of the exam we are. Because for phase one, I would prioritize the most of the time in the initial 30 days of my preparation for quant and reasoning, because
Mm.
I have to clear the cutoff as well. And parallelly, the GA preparation was also going on. And for English, there was no particular time which I like actually devoted to it.
Okay. And did you like anticipated that you are going to clear the exam in the first attempt, or was there no anticipation and that's why you were less worried that okay, this is my first attempt, so I will just try the exam out?
I wouldn't say I anticipated it, ma'am, but definitely there was hope, because my interview went like after interview I was a bit 50-50,
Mm.
and I was also not worried because I was also checking out the dates for the 26 examination cycle now.
Okay. And can you mention some of the challenges that you faced in your whole preparation journey since starting for UPSC till the RBI?
Uh, Challenges would be, ma'am, one of the major challenge people face is sitting consistently, and that is also related to the vast syllabus. And another thing would be that these exams definitely do take longer durations,
Mm.
and 1 to 2 attempts, 3, 4 attempts, multiple attempts are very quite common in these exams. So, and one more important challenge which like aspirants are facing these days across competitive exams is the uh, a very quick evolving nature of the questions due to the technology advancements and all. So these are some of the common challenges which I also faced, ma'am.
Okay, yes. And the weightage also keeps on shifting. Like sometimes the reports are like asked more, sometimes schemes are more there. So that is correct. Now, how
Yes,
the
ma'am.
UPSC preparation has helped you in your RBI journey?
UPSC preparation is a very comprehensive and it's a very wholesome preparation. So it definitely helped me in some parts of finance as well as the whole of ESA, in fact. But on the other hand, ma'am, like RBI also has very niche topics like management, and also the current affairs are very finance and banking related. So I would say, like in general, UPSC helped me in uh, trying to like understand things in a much more precise way. And the preparation of UPSC helped me to, in fact, to become a quick learner for new topics.
Mm. So we can say that if you are not from the UPSC background, then you should not be worried about it, because there are very different components in the RBI, even the general awareness that you are studying, the schemes that you are studying, that is more factual in nature in RBI in comparison to the UPSC. So usually the students have this mindset that the UPSC background students have a higher chance in the RBI. Do you also feel that?
Definitely not, ma'am, because like all it matters is how we are performing on that particular day in the phase one examination, because the phase one is one of the toughest phases of this examination. And also, ma'am, I would like to add one more thing, that UPSC aspirants, if at all they have an edge also, they also have some minus points as well. They also have some cons as well in this examination, because some parts of the interview and all, we are grilled more because of our gap years as well. So I think it evens out, and like it is a very even a pitch for everyone.
Okay. And for your gap years, were you doing any certification course or something?
No, ma'am, no.
Okay. So now let's delve into the strategy part, and we will
Sure.
discuss about phase one first, then phase two, and then interview part. Okay. So starting
Yes,
with your
ma'am.
phase one, let's start with the quant and reasoning. So this time, many of the students had this in mind that the quant was on easier side. Do you also believe that, or you have given the examination and you know that this was not the case?
Ma'am, quant, I wouldn't say it was on very easier side as well. But the one thing has happened is there were 4 questions from quadratic equations, which made it feel like the minimum number of questions is very doable. But apart from that, I felt that the level of paper is on par as the previous years, and the reasoning as well. It followed the similar trend.
Okay. And this time, like there were questions in quant, like from the easier side, you said 4 questions were there, but the cutoff has also gone high. So
Yes, ma'am.
if the exam, like the quant is still at the same page, we can say. Now coming to English, it was lengthier. It was lengthier this time. So did you face any difficulty, or you were able to skim through it?
I faced difficulty in the examination hall to cover all the questions, but I took the risk, ma'am, because 1 to 2 questions. What happens is we try to go by the instincts, because approximately 28 questions I was able to say, and the last 1 2 questions I was just left with 1 or 2 minutes, and I try to just skim through the passages and attempt them, and maybe they've gone right. I'm not sure.
Okay. Okay. So in the quant reasoning in English, what should be the strategy that the students should be adopting? Because you took very less time to do quant reasoning. And yes, many of the students believe that you have studied the quant and reasoning for the UPSC, but it is very difficult. Like the RBI level is something that is quite difficult, I can say. So
Yes.
how much preparation and how much efforts are required in the quant reasoning English section?
Ma'am, specifically for the quant and reasoning section, I followed one strategy, ma'am. I tried to divide the topics into 2 parts, in fact, into 3 parts. The first part is the topics which have a very high weightage and are absolutely doable. For example, quadratic equations and all. These have to be mastered, and if the questions are extremely difficult, except that case, we have to solve every question that comes from these topics. And the second category of topics are the topics which should be mastered, like uh, even if not to the level of the topics in as in the category one, but the second category topics have to be done in a very detailed manner, and most of the questions you must be able to solve. And the third category topics are that you may not be confident in such topics as well, so you just need to ensure that even if very easy questions are coming, then you have to particularly solve it, or else you can definitely skip them. So in the similar fashion, I've done for the reasoning as well. So once we start doing this one, what happens specifically is that we try to solve only the most important and the doable questions, which are in coincidence with our strengths, and this will help us in ensuring that we are at least clearing the sectional cutoffs. So that was my strategy, ma'am.
So rather than seeing the whole syllabus as one, you divided each part, each quant reasoning and English syllabus in the 3 categories. The first part that you have to be pro in, the second part where you have to be a master in, the third part that you can do as basics. That is
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Very nice strategy. This is for the first time that I am listening to such a strategy where you have the clear cut idea that what you have to like master or what you have to like focus more in. So that is good
Yes,
for all
ma'am.
the students. And especially if you are not like, I am very afraid of quant. So if I have so much of the syllabus, I will be worried. So if I divide it in chunks, that will be easier. Correct. Coming to the GA part now, you had very less time. Like I'm listening to after the notification. So it like in 1 month, how are you able to cover the GA? That is a big chunk. Like there is reports, schemes, RBI notifications, RBI circulars. There is also finance current affairs, ESI current affairs, then the GA, the normal GA that is. So for
Yes.
all these, like how did you cover them?
Ma'am, here as well, like as you listed out, like all the important subsections of the GA, like I also try to prioritize among these subsections. So while prioritizing, like I felt that the first most important things are the like RBI and the SEBI circulars, which unfortunately were not asked in huge numbers in this year, but that becomes a very important chunk according to the previous trends. And the second most important part of the current affairs is the finance current affairs and the banking current affairs in general, which is like the UPI credit line was given by which bank kind of
Mm.
question was asked in this year. So uh, that is covered under the general banking current affairs part. And then the third most important is the schemes and other announcements related to the schemes and the other announcements related to the government. And the fourth important section is the report section. And the fifth
Mm.
important section would be the normal current affairs. The normal current affairs sometimes also covers the miscellaneous sections like the sports and all,
Mm.
and also the static GK part of it. And so when for the strategy for each the subsection would be different now.
Mm.
Like I had very less time, so I used to strategize like this, and so that my final hit ratio would be high. So for the like RBI and the SEBI circulars thing, what I did was uh, from any source, we have to try to read the latest circulars of the RBI. Directly reading it from the website would be very difficult for initial freshers like me as well. Like I felt it was very difficult and it was in a very complicated language. So I used to follow the PDFs of an educator called Brajesh Mohan sir. And because of his PDFs as well, there was like I got a core material. But
Mm.
reading them was also a challenge. So I used to follow your like EduTap's Finance 360 videos, ma'am. They were very concise and they were in a very like easy to understand manner. And so that will help you like that will help you deal with the circular section of it. And coming to the banking and finance current affairs, like EduTap's all-in-one magazine is also pretty good. Like I've gone through that the last 2 to 3 months for everything, ma'am, and like for the schemes as well, for the circulars as well, and for the finance current affairs as well. The last 2 to 3 months, and with the specific focus on and with the specific focus on the last 2 months.
Mm.
T-2 months is absolutely important, non-negotiable, and and also third month can be done. And this was my strategy for the banking and the finance current affairs. And for the schemes, once again, the only source is the PIB. PIB done. PIB can be done from the original website, or you can follow like any compilation. Like EduTap's compilation is also pretty good, and as I said, Brajesh Mohan sir's compilation is also pretty decent for PIB. And the normal current affairs, ma'am, once again, I followed like EduTap's like all-in-one magazine because it is very concise and brief. And what I believe is that the all-in-one magazine will only prioritize the most important things. So if the most important things are asked, we'll anyhow solve it. Like
Mm.
we'll anyhow put the right option and come. But if the most important questions are not asked, then anyhow 90% of the population will not be able to solve it. So it is anyhow the cost benefit ratio will be pretty decent for me. So and apart from that, regular reading of Indian Express will also help.
Okay. So for the GA, you took the risky part, I will say, because you only covered 3 months for all the contents, right? For all the components.
In fact, I wouldn't say it as a risk. I mean, it was a calculated risk because,
Mm.
like according to my analysis, the the general awareness part actually follows the
Huh.
80-20 rule that the 80% of the question come from the last 2 to 3 months. So I felt that that would be sufficient in the limited time I had.
Yes, correct. So yes, you did the 3 months of the schemes and reports and all the other components, and you followed like all-in-one magazine, or you followed the PIB website, you followed Finance 360-degree sessions, as well as the other material that you have talked about. So this is about GA. I think most of the students have got the answer that he did 3 months. You can take the calculated risk, that is upon you, how much time you have, or you can be on the safer side, and preparing from the phase two perspective also, you can cover more months also. Now, coming to the next question, how did you revise? Because even if you're studying for 2 to 3 months, so many of the components, so many of the facts coming from the UPSC background, I don't think that so many of the facts have to be covered there. So this must be new for you. So how did you tackle this?
Ma'am, quant and the reasoning revision will only be done through sectional tests. And I believe that specifically for quant and reasoning, writing the full test is less beneficial than solving the sectional tests, because regular solving of sectional tests, because I solved at around I solved around 15 to 20 tests, which are the sectional tests for quant and reasoning respectively. So for the last 20 days before the pre, like I daily used to solve one sectional test of both quant and reasoning. So this what it did it to me, ma'am, that when I was going to the examination, like I didn't have the nerves. So I was very confident that, because in the mocks, like in the sectional tests, like I've solved absolutely very difficult mocks as well. So there also, like I was able to score 7 to 8 marks. So definitely I was sure that cut off the pass ho jaunga. Uske upar what will I get? That I was not sure. And for GA, ma'am, for GA, like I believe that we have to make a short notes of all the PDFs and the magazines we are reading, because like I used to like absolutely prioritize that as well. You can call me a lazy person, but like I used to like only write the short notes for the most important things which I felt will be like asked in the examination. So my banking to finance current affairs notes was just around 4 to 5 pages for the last 2 to 3 months. The circular notes is quite bulky, because what happens is we have to write the details of every circular, and some circulars like the project finance one, like it is a very bulky circular, so the notes becomes very detailed. So the like RBI circular, so the notes for the circulars part was around 10 to 12 pages. So we like what I'm saying is we have to make concise notes, so that our revision will become much more easier.
Correct. And did you get so much of the time? Like, did you get the time to make the handwritten notes, or you were just highlighting the magazines and just writing short notes in the margin, or did you make separate notes?
I made separate notes, ma'am, because I felt that once we start seeing the magazines, like even if we highlight the magazines, we tend to get a FOMO, and we tend to read we tend to read the non-highlighted parts as well.
Correct.
Like out of fear of missing out. So I felt that writing a short notes would be much more helpful, and I'll only be revising that.
Okay. One more question. This time, static GA was quite hefty in number, and usually the static GA do not come in the RBI Grade B examination. So were you shocked, or it was fine for you?
In fact, I didn't even realize it in the exam hall, ma'am. Like after coming out only, like I realized, because at that point of time, seeing 80 questions itself in the 25 minutes is a very big challenge. So I didn't even realize that there was static GK as well.
Okay. So you have to be confident on what you have studied. Again, you do not have to go do 80 out of 80 questions. You have to do like you have to clear the cutoff, and you have to try for 35, 40 and such. That is correct.
Absolutely, ma'am.
And the weightage also keeps on shifting. Like this time you were giving for the first time the RBI Grade B examination, but the weightage shifted. Usually, like in the last year particularly, there were more reports, but this time there were like static GA or the general current affairs. So did you felt that, okay, I was preparing as per the previous year questions, now the reports are not so much. So did you felt that confusion while giving the exam?
Yes, ma'am. Like a small bit, but once again, as I said, like I didn't realize that the weightage has changed during the examination. Like only once I came out, then retrospectively, like I felt that yes, the weightage did definitely follow a different trend. But fortunately, like I was above the cutoff. So yeah.
Okay. And what will you suggest to the students that about this weightage that keeps on shifting?
Don't focus on that. Focus only on what is in your hands, and the weightage is nothing but the performance which is related to every other student. So if you are performing well, then the weightage will also go up. So you should definitely perform well. That is the first most important thing which we should be which we should follow.
Okay, correct. So you should cover all the components. The weightage can go up and down only, but it will not go out of the general awareness section. GA में
Yes,
वो
ma'am.
आपसे history या polity नहीं पूछेंगे. They will ask GA
Right,
only.
right,
Correct.
right. Yes.
Now let's come to the phase two. Anything that you want to add for the phase one, or have we covered everything according to you?
And in phase one, ma'am, one more important thing is that we have to give a lot of marks as well. Be
Mm,
it sectional or be it full length tests, like at least 3 to 4 full length tests are required. So that sectional, mein what happens is we will develop the like the individual section ka like expertise we will develop. But
mm.
like in full length marks, what happens is we will develop the knack of solving the questions without any fatigue factor. So both the sectional tests are important and also the full length marks needs to be given for the phase one specific.
Okay, so the sectional mock will help you to master a subject, while the
Yes,
full
ma'am.
length mock will help you to be more in line with the examination perspective. So
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
now coming to the phase two, let's start with your finance and management because I find it very interesting that you only started after like phase one for the finance and management. So how did you manage? Because it is very shocking. You have to write descriptive answers, you have to give the objective answers also. So your strategy.
Ma'am, strategy is once again divided into two subjects, finance and management, because both are seemingly unrelated subjects
Hmm.
which are put into one common paper. So I'll start with finance, ma'am. In finance, there was a bit of help from UPSC preparation as well, ma'am, because the RBI part of it, the functions parts of it, or the basics of derivatives and all, those are covered, but not in the depth which is required for the grade B examination. So I still like only a fundamental basis was there, and like I had to build a lot upon that. So what I did was, ma'am, like I divided the topics into neat the bullet points, and like I made sure that for each bullet point I'll have an one pager notes, and I made a list of all possible questions for each topic.
Hmm.
Like for example, we can speak about the functions of RBI. So, from the topic called functions of RBI, the possible questions will be like there can be a very generalistic question like list out all the functions of RBI. Then we have to be careful to list out only the most important things in the first five, and then the developmental things and all. And there can also be a very specific question like write about the regulation and supervision function of RBI. So regarding with that strategy, like I went forward that from each topic I used to make the possible list of questions, and I used to type all these questions in a word pad, and I used to uh, copy paste that into Chat GPT and ask that this is my answer for RBI phase two finance paper. Please try to like evaluate my answer. So this I did for like almost all the topics, ma'am, and for almost all the possible questions which I made. So this helped me that like I typed almost 100 to 120 questions for finance itself. So that definitely helped me in battling both the word limits as well as the important keywords, the value additions which I'm required to do, and also helped me in mastering the whole syllabus.
Okay. And for the like, still there are some very difficult topics in finance also, some very technical topics for finance also. This was more generic, which you could have studied before. But what about more technical topics?
Technical topics, I remember derivatives was a very
Mm.
technical and it was a tough topic for me, ma'am. And with that, like what I thought was, if something related to derivatives is asked in the objective part, then I'll face a challenge because in the like objective part, they can twist the question in any way.
Hmm.
Like they can ask the specific detail of it, or they may ask an application-oriented question. So that will become difficult for me. But a subjective question can be dealt because like what I have to do is I have to just remember the definitions, and
Hmm.
I have to remember some one-pager notes related to them. So that was clear in my mind. So even if there are technical topics, they can be dealt using the simple strategy kind of a thing.
Okay. And let's say that there was a very small topic like call option. From
Yes,
that, a
ma'am.
question comes. So, did you prepare the notes for each and every important part of the derivatives, or you were just going with the generic idea about it?
For specific topics and such niche topics and the tough topics like derivatives, ma'am, like I just prepared a general answer that
Hmm.
even like if an over like if an overview kind of question comes, I'll write it. Or else I'll leave it and I'll pick another question.
Okay. Now let's come to management. And how did you prepare for management?
Ma'am, for management, one important key is that we have to strictly stick to the syllabus, because there are like n number of theories for each topic which is mentioned in the syllabus. And RBI itself very carefully has drafted only 2 to 3 theories per topic. So we have to limit ourselves, because what happens is that once we understand the way the syllabus is framed for the subject called management, we tend to understand that it is a very limited syllabus. It may seem very vast, but it is actually very doable, and it is a very scoring subject as well. So once again, managements also, the strategy will be divided into 2 parts, ma'am. One for descriptive and one for like objective, because management is such a subject where the descriptive part will ask about the direct theoretical questions, but the objective part in the recent 2 to 3 years I have seen is that they are asking application oriented questions.
Hmm.
So for the application oriented questions in the objective part, the only thing we have to do is you have to understand the postulates of each and every theory, not just in descriptive kind of way, but also in the practical way. Like for example, what is the concept called organizational change? What is leadership? It's not that the definition, but what is in general leadership. Well, like for example, like I used to relate it with the real life examples. For example, if I used to hear the word leadership, I used to remember about Mahendra Singh Dhoni, or let me say the Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So what happens is we try to relate one particular like aspect of leadership to one particular real life example, so that we will not be able to forget that kind of examples. And like once we relate that, so even if the application oriented questions comes in a very twisted manner, we'll be able to solve it. So this was the
Correct.
strategy for objective, ma'am. And for descriptive, I don't think there are any shortcuts. It's a very dry subject, and we have to absolutely remember the important points. We can use shortcuts and mnemonics as well, but there is only one hard way for descriptive.
Okay. And for finance and management, what were your sources?
Sources, ma'am, for both finance and management, the core source was the EduTap's. Like as I said, like I took the subscription,
Hmm.
so the concept notes and the summary notes, because I didn't have the time to watch the videos. So I just revised the concept notes and the summary notes. And from summary notes, I made the short notes. Once again, I made the short notes for each topic and the possible questions. And the main practice and the mastery like over the subject came through repeated writing of the questions, ma'am. Like as I said, like I've typed these questions and I've copy pasted to the chat GPT. That helped me in bringing some expertise.
I think you had the backing from the God also, because this time the timeline between phase one and phase two was like larger. It
True,
was
ma'am.
not
True.
before. So you
True.
had around 45 days. That's why also I think you were able to manage making notes and doing the whole of the finance and management. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Coming to the ESI section, especially like static, you must have studied in the UPSC. So let's focus more on the current affairs. If you have some pointers for static also, that also you can give.
Ma'am, static, as you said, ma'am, like I just revised my UPSC notes and I didn't follow like any other source for it, because I didn't have because I didn't have the luxury of time.
Mm.
So I just stick to my UPSC notes. And for current, ma'am, uh, there are actually only 2 major sections for ESI current: reports and schemes. So that's it. Like any other thing can be asked, could be asked in the future as well. But we have to understand that the probability and the cost benefit ratio will be diminishing to read about such things. And it is better that we limit ourselves to this, because we need not score 100 out of 100 in this paper. All we need to do is score 50 to 60 marks.
Mm.
So for the current affairs part of ESIMM, like I made a strategy once again that I'll prepare only 50 schemes and 20 reports. 50 most important schemes, the flagship schemes of the government, and the schemes which are in use. And the reports will be the 20 reports which are prepared according to the previous year trends.
Mm.
For example, the reports released by United Nations and all, those become very important. And those were definitely prepared. And so, like, according to those schemes and reports only, like I prepared, ma'am. Yes, the questions may or may not come, but I feel that once we start to limit our resources, ma'am, then we'll feel confident about the things we have prepared. So that will definitely help in if they actually don't help us in recognizing the right options, they will definitely help us in eliminating the wrong options as well. So in some way, it will definitely help, and it will also help in easier revisions as well.
Okay. As well as there were 5 questions, if I remember correctly, from the finance current affairs. Like there was a question on the MWPL some topic, as well as there was another question, like paragraph based question from SEBI guidelines, and there were 4 questions from that, 2 marks
Yes, yes, ma'am.
each. So were you able to do that question because you were focused in reports and schemes, but there were 5 questions from the finance current affairs in the ESI section. So how did you handle that?
I I'm actually not sure about the question, ma'am, because I'm not able to remember it. But I don't think I answered it because it was a very risky move
Hmm.
to answer such questions, because I feel that some questions are designed to actually make candidates lose marks. They are traps.
Okay. Now, coming to the English descriptive, how did you handle the English descriptive? Were you confident or did you actually practice?
Ma'am, like all my practice was based on two important pillars, ma'am. The first thing was using the EduTap's material. Like I practiced all the questions and answers which were given. Like there is one PDF where sir actually gives the questions, and in the next page there is the answer for the Prezi or for the essay as well. So I used to see the Prezi, the main para, and I used to type my Prezi, and I used to copy paste both the sir's given answer and my answer into ChatGPT once again. And I used to say that what all mistakes have I done and how can I improve to so that my Prezi will be close to sir's Prezi. So in that way, using both like AI and the core material, because I believe, ma'am, like AI shouldn't be used in a very in a very general manner.
Hmm.
We have to give the prompt also very
Hmm.
focused in a very focused manner. So this is how I try to use AI for my for my English answer writing, and for essay as well, ma'am. One very important thing which I wanted to share, ma'am, that regarding essay, when the topic comes in a very factual manner, suppose it's a very factual topic, be very careful that we are not writing a very factual essay. Because for example, let me say that the topic is around the impact of artificial intelligence on the financial sector.
Hmm.
So we should try to frame the essay based on the different arguments and the different dimensions, rather than one para for each example, or one para I'm giving it to like AI impact on banking, second para is regarding insurance. That is not
Hmm.
the right way. We should not go into
Hmm.
the facts of it, because in my state pieces, as I told them, like I was heavily penalized in my essay paper, which looking back, I believe that it is due to the reason that I have written a very factual essay. So here one thing is very careful that I focused more on writing about writing a detailed essay in a like in a way that it covers many dimensions. It is a more comprehensive essay, covers 360 degrees of the topic given. So that I feel is a very important thing.
Okay, that is a good point. I hope many of the students will keep this in mind that you are giving the examination for the English descriptive section, not the
Yes, ma'am.
finance section. So that
Yes, ma'am.
point has to be kept in mind. We might like sometimes we are so passionate about a topic because we have studied it in finance that we write it from that perspective. So keep this in mind that where you are writing your answer. Okay, now
Yes, ma'am.
typing. Typing is a problematic situation because you are from the UPSC background. So did you find it problematic or you were very comfortable with it?
I didn't find it very problematic, ma'am, because I was always using a laptop. So
Okay.
typing was inherently somewhat like it was a kind of a muscle memory for me. But keeping it apart, like I also practiced a bit hard for it, because there is also time limit, and what we do on laptop is generally casual typing. And here, there is no luxury for any mistakes as well, and because we are penalized for the grammatical errors as well as the typos. So I was practicing it on a daily scale, ma'am, on a
Mm.
daily level. And like as I said, what I used to do is I used to copy paste these answers which I typed with the chat, so that I am also like answerable, and I'm also learning answers daily, and I am also typing answers daily. So both the typing will happen parallelly, and also the conceptual part of it will be covered.
Okay. And how was the infrastructure at the exam hall? Were you comfortable with the keyboards or did you find it difficult to write the answers?
This is actually a fantastic scenario, ma'am. What happened? It was a bit funny as well, because in my first, like the first paper is the financial management paper. So in that, it was my first time, like as it's my first attempt. So the keyboard I got, like on the initial impression, I felt that it was pretty fine. But on like after the half an hour and the 40 minutes of the examination, like I felt that the keys were a bit sticky. So then I can't ask them to change. So I was like, somehow, whatever I have to do, like, I have to do this one paper well. So I was typing very aggressively and very quickly. And fortunately, that 2 hours have passed. And for the second phase, like I was allotted a different system, and there the keyboard was actually good. So it helped me. So in general, I would say the impression was pretty decent, ma'am. It was good.
Okay, but you have to keep your mind calm also because such kind of things might come in front of you that sometimes, like I have heard that the PC went down for 2 minutes or something. So you have to be calm. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Now I think that we have covered the different aspects of the phase two. Anything that you want to share before moving towards the interview part?
Yes, ma'am. That we regarding the keywords usage in the answers, ma'am. If
Mm.
for finance as well as ESI, like I would say that in finance, uh, the use of committees or the recent MPC statements, and also, ma'am, like I tend to see that my friends as well, they used to ask me the sources of these value additions. From where do we get such value additions? These value additions are nothing but the current affairs which you are reading for the finance part. Nothing
Correct.
extra must be done. We have to just like have the common sense to use
Mm.
that particular thing in accordance to the topic which is being asked in the question. And similarly for the ESA, ma'am, quoting the economic survey or quoting the budget announcements, quoting the Niti Ayog, and uh, and also, ma'am, absolutely quoting the schemes and the reports which we have learned for the objective part, because the reports are nothing but the comprehensive analysis over a particular topic. So
Mm.
quoting them would definitely help our like answers gain those 1 to 2 marks, which will definitely give an edge.
Okay. Now coming to the interview part. So first of all, did you give any mock interview?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And how was it?
It was fine, ma'am. Like I even gave one online and one offline interview with EduTap as well, and I've given multiple interviews with other institutes as well. And the mocks primarily helped me in calming down, ma'am,
Mm.
because like I didn't give any interview in my life, so the mock interviews were my first interviews of my life. So initially, like I only felt that during the feedback videos which I get. Like after the interview, like I felt that I was very nervous. Like even though like I didn't feel that I was nervous, my face like it showed that I was nervous. So
Mm.
then I understood that no, they are just there to talk with me. Like I did not go into a shell. So then I became a bit relaxed. Tried to get relaxed. Like I'm not sure even if I was very relaxed on the final day of interview.
Correct. Okay. So I think that mock interviews are quite important and you should be giving the mock interviews, right?
Definitely, ma'am. Definitely. And also, what happens is during the mock interviews, sometimes the biodata related questions get repeated in the final interview as well. So it is also useful from that point of view.
Okay. So now let's talk about the final interview. First of all, how was the experience? And second, if you can share some of the questions.
The experience was very good, ma'am. The panel was very cordial, and there were six panel members on from my day of interview. It was on 26th of February in Chennai,
Mm.
and once I went in, ma'am, the chairman sir asked me about the gap years, and once I said that, sir, I've given multiple UPSC attempts. He was like, "There you go. There is another UPSC aspirant." Karke, he pointed out to a female member, and she asked me about my biodata. Uh, there was a mention of MSME in my biodata. So she asked about the recent changes to the definition of MSME, and also about the recent announcement in the budget related to MSMEs. And there, ma'am, what happened is like I used a word called securitization of trades was announced, and once I said the securitization, she caught hold of that word, and she asked that, what do you mean by securitization? And once I said, then she went to mortgage-backed securities. And then another member interrupted and asked about the 2008 global financial crisis, which is related to that. So one thing I would say that use words very carefully in the interview, because it can spiral out anywhere, and it can in fact to have a very negative impression on us as well. And like uh, after the female member, ma'am, like a male member asked me about some RBI specific things, which are the uh, like about the DPI, and the index, and also about uh, the recently launched CBDC.
Hmm.
And he asked me if I have a CBDC wallet and all. He asked me between the differences between the UPI and CBDC. Uh, and also, ma'am, then another member asked me about the impact of the decisions of RBI over the bond yields and all. And there were multiple questions relating to how yields move up, what is the meaning of a sloping up yield curve and a sloping down yield curve, when is a sloping down yield curve observed, and all.
Hmm.
And finally, the chairman sir asked me about the mark to market. And like after that, he said that your interview is over, you may leave.
Okay. And were you confident while leaving the interview that, okay, I have given my best attempt and this, I have given good answers and such?
I felt that I have not spoiled the interview. That was the only feedback I had. I was not sure if I gave the best answers to them.
Okay. And were you able to give all the answers or you said no to some of the questions? You were not aware.
I answered maybe 60 to 70% of the questions, ma'am, and to the rest, I said that, sorry, sir, I'm not aware. And in fact, ma'am, for the 2008 financial crisis question as well, like I gave an answer, and there was a follow back question to me. And for that, I said, sorry, sir, I'm not aware. Then the reply from one of the panel member was that you are not even aware of the such an important financial crisis which has happened. So yeah,
Okay.
like they tend to say things like that, so that like I believe that that is a part of this testing as well.
Hmm, correct. So, like your answers matter, but your
Yes.
personality also matters, and how much you keep calm in such situation also matters. Okay, so now we are towards the end of this success story session, but before that, I will ask one question that you have taken our course. So, how did you find the course? How much helpful was it for you?
It was definitely very helpful, ma'am, because like as I said, I didn't have any background and I had a very limited time frame. So to cover such a vast syllabus in such a short amount of time, we definitely need a very concise and a very focused material. I believe that a two types material is pretty good in such aspects. So it definitely helped me in finance and management, as well as for Facebook.
Okay, and the YouTube sessions, did you watch the marathon sessions and the other sessions?
Yes, ma'am. I did watch the marathon sessions, but like I felt that my strengths lie in revising my notes more.
Hmm.
So I watched a limited number of marathon sessions. But in the YouTube, like as I said, ma'am, your finance history sessions were definitely helpful.
Thank you so much. Means a lot. Now, before ending the session, any message that you want to give out to the students?
Message would be, ma'am, I would say that this is a very competitive examinations, and like I did all the hard work only to get till the interview. And what happened on the day of interview, how my final result went, there is definitely at least 20% luck factor in that. So I would say that don't take the results very seriously. Just go on working hard, because I have also seen multiple failures over all these years. So I would say that just keep giving your best every day, and finally one good day will come.
Correct. Thank you so much, Sumanth, for attending the session. Thank you for joining.
Thank you so much, ma'am.